What's your relationship with your grandkids?
Well, should I say there's a special one? Should I get this on tape?
You can mention your favorite one if you want to.
You know, like Benjamin. No, well, we were the proudest of, I guess, of Jason, the first one, when Grandpa was still living. My goodness, that was the world. The first grandson.
Do you think your kids have raised their kids different than you've raised? Do you think?
Well, as you say, I think they do it the same way. You know, they're fairly strict with what you do and check on you and try to teach you things, but it's the television and the world around is a little different, and we all absorb what we see and what we hear.
Do you think raising your kids, because they're all girls, had any impact, any influence on how they turned out?
Well, they did have each other to confide in and wear each other's clothes, which was caused quite a feud sometime in here. But I guess it would have been great if they would have had a brother with them, but that wasn't the way it happened. So.
Now on to world events. What do you think are some of the biggest world events that shaped your life?
Well, I don't know if it changed any, but when did Lindbergh fire? That was, I guess it was in my early years when I was a kid. I don't know what year that was. Do you remember? 20s? Well, see, I was born in the beginning of 1920, end of 1919. So I was probably, but that did change the world a lot, learning to fly. And I remember that going to St. Louis, was it the Wright Field up there, when the Wright brothers were learning, you know, aviation was just beginning to take off. I'm sure that changed the whole world a lot.
The Depression was big, obviously.
Oh, yes. But it didn't, being as young as I wasn't aware of all the suffering. All you see in the paper about the soup lines and the people out of work, and I heard a lot about it, but my dad always was working, so and Mom always had a garden, and they worked hard to provide food, and we didn't have a lot of clothes, but we had all the necessities. I never felt deprived, so that I don't think that depression affected me as I hear some people talk. They remember so well when their dad didn't have work.
Yes. When did World War I end? It started in 1919, didn't it?
No. Well, maybe it did. See, that would have been my dad didn't have to go to the army, join the army, because he had a family, had 5 children, and that was what. Maybe if it had gone on longer, he would have. But he was in his 20s and 30s, I guess, 30s, 20 and 30s, when World War I was going on. I don't remember anything. I think it must have ended about the time I was born.
How did World War II or Vietnam or Korea, how they affected you? This was World War II, kind of.
Well, that's when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Well, that was a shocking news event that affected everyone, really. And we were all very much united to do what you could, and, you know, wanted to. People were more willing to go to join the service. There weren't as many objectors as there was later on. It was a different attitude, and everyone wanted to save the country. And
Did you ever have to?
a lot of my friends, the boys that I knew were gone. I spent a lot of my time riding to them.
Did your brothers have to go?
No, they were, oh yeah, Vernon. Vernon did. He was the youngest. That's right, he was. Alvin was, had studied radio, so he was at Scott Field working for the, I guess it was the government, teaching radio, that he wasn't in the services.
So you didn't, like during World War II, all the rationing, you did?
Oh yeah.
It didn't affect us?
We did. We had the little rationing books and you'd have to go to the store and...
So it was a big inconvenience? Or?
Oh yes, lots. And I remember, I guess that was, let's see, that must have been when we were first married. 44. I remember that back to Prairie Road to visit Mom. We were at the grocery store and I was able to pick up fruit. Was hard to get, you know, you had to use a lot of stamps for that. And I got a can of cherries and I brought them home and I was so proud that I had. And then I found out at home that Frank did not like cherry. I was going to make cherry pie. He didn't like cherry pie.